like that. I love it.
Ray Brown's Talkin' Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics, with the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
And Quest Nature Tours, offering expert-led small group tours for bird and nature lovers since 1970. Explore exceptional journeys around the world at questnaturetours.com.
And Beautyo Books, an independent, family-owned bookstore carrying one of the largest selections of birding books in the world. BeautyOBooks.com.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to our show number 935. Just about 50 feet from our Talkin' Birds studio here is the Talkin' Birds garden. And we don't have bluebirds nesting, at least not yet, but we do have house wrens back nesting again. Maybe that's why we don't have bluebirds nesting. Although the house wrens did coexist with some tree swallows nesting last year. Meanwhile, guess who else is back? No, not your Uncle Frank inviting yourself or himself to your Memorial Day cookout. It's this. The Ivory-bill woodpecker, maybe. The grail bird, the good Lord bird, the feathered Elvis, the ivory-billed woodpecker. A peer-reviewed study published this week offers sighting reports, audio recordings, trail camera images, and drone video, leading its authors to describe the, quote, intermittent but repeated presence, end quote, of birds that look and behave like ivory-billed woodpeckers. One of the study's authors, Dr. Stephen Latta, says cumulative evidence from their multi-year search in Louisiana leaves his team confident that the bird continues to exist in that state and probably other places as well. Skeptics abound, of course, some pointing out that since the videos taken are of poor quality, they don't really prove anything. But Dr. Latta, who's Director of Conservation and Field Research at the National Aviary in Pittsburgh, says that in 2019 he saw an ivory-bill clearly with his own eyes. We await the next chapter in the saga. Meanwhile, rest in peace, Pale Male, the red-tailed hawk who called Manhattan home for 3 decades and inspired many news articles, at least 3 books, a documentary film, and a PBS television special, died on Tuesday, May 16th, after being found ill in Central Park. Pale Male was believed to be 33 years old. That's not Pale Male, that's our mystery bird. Preview of our mystery bird contest coming up. It's a pretty distinctive sounding call there from our mystery bird. These are some of the clues. We'll be following up on these a little bit later. Our mystery bird is a shore bird you can see without going to the shore, maybe. It's brownish tan on top and white below. The white chest is barred with 2 black bands, or dark bands, and the brown face is marked with black and white patches. It has a large, round head, large eyes, and a short bill. Our bird, which breeds all over the U.S. and just about all of Canada, and is seen year-round in the southern states and along both coasts, forages on the ground for earthworms and snails, grasshoppers and beetles and crayfish and aquatic insect larvae. That's our bird. What do you think that is? Beautiful prizes await, including a $15 gift certificate for Beautyo Books. It's a family-owned business that offers one of the biggest selections of birding books in the world. And we have something delicious as well, a month's supply of crunchy and delicious super seed crackers from the folks at Mary's Gone Crackers, makers of amazingly good snacks using only whole, plant-based ingredients. So that's our Mystery Bird Contest preview, the actual thing, a little bit later. Conservation Salute of the Week. Sometimes we salute an individual, sometimes an organization, or even a private company or corporation. Today we salute a magazine, Time Magazine to be specific, for creating their new Time CO2 Climate Action Platform, CO2.com, designed to help accelerate climate action and elevate climate leaders. The platform includes their Earth Awards program, the first edition of which honors climate activists, including actor Mark Ruffalo, Clean Energy Group Director Gloria Walton, Apple's Environment Chief Lisa Jackson, and Time's own climate activism advice columnist Vanessa Nakate, and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. So congratulations, honorees, and we salute you. Time Magazine. And now... a salute to a couple more Talking Birds ambassadors, listeners who step up and help us do what we're trying to do, just spread the word about the wonder of birds and the importance of conservation. So thank you so much to Jeff from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you to Carl Brack from Omaha, Nebraska. So our Talking Birds ambassadors are really kind of a lifeline for us to reach out and spread the word about our show and birds and conservation. It's really easy to become a Talking Birds ambassador. Here's what to do. Just go to talkingbirds.com.
There's no G in talking.
No G in there. And click on the Get Involved tab at the top of the page and see how to do it. And being an ambassador is also very easy. We'll send you a bunch of cards. And at your convenience, hand them out to friends, neighbors, fellow birders, and maybe most importantly, would-be birders that you might encounter. So the Get Involved tab at talkingbirds.com. And thanks to Jay Messenger, by the way, who's a volunteer down at the Bombay Hook Sanctuary. He says, thank you for another supply of cards. We're enjoying the arrival of the hummers, rose-breasted grosbeaks, and Baltimore Orioles for the season. Thank you so much, Jay. Still to come on our show today, our own Debbie Bleacher will join us from the Talking Birds Science Corner to tell us how bird reproduction is being affected by climate change. Also today, Mike O'Connor will join us for a live Let's Ask Mike segment about dealing with nuthatches that think they're woodpeckers. Meanwhile, a few days ago, we did a little birding at an urban oasis called McLaughlin Woods in the city of Boston. We got some great sightings of today's featured feathered friend. It's presented by Birdwatching Magazine. For more than a quarter century, Birdwatching has been North America's premier magazine about wild birds and birding. The scientific name of today's featured feathered friend translates roughly to small red moth eater. Its common name is derived from its New World habitat, one of its colors, sort of, and an old word for part of its anatomy. It all adds up to Psittophaga ruticilla, the American redstart. We're used to birds with less than accurate common names, and this redstart is one of them. Sources say that the name redstart is a corruption of the Old German Rotstert, meaning red tail, a name that was applied by the British to the European redstart, which has a rusty red tail. The redstart name was later attached to this American bird because it resembles the European one, in kind of the same process that led a certain black-headed thrush to become known as the American robin. The bright colors on the mostly black American redstart are actually a stunning orange, seen in patches on the sides, wings, and tail. The black color is replaced mostly by gray on the female, which sports yellow patches instead of orange. The bird flashes its colorful tail as it hops along, flushing insects out of hiding places in the leaves, and then chasing and catching them in midair, the way flycatchers do. And it's a pretty effective technique. The redstart is said to catch more flying insects than any other warbler. And unlike other warblers, it eats a wide variety of them, along with several kinds of berries. By the way, our bird shares its name with another North American redstart, although the two are not closely related. The painted redstart is a summer resident of the mountains in the U.S. Southwest. It really is a red start with a crimson breast and belly. American redstarts are threatened by the usual suspects, including collisions with windows, towers, and antennas, and they're one of the most parasitized species by brown-headed cowbirds. Fortunately, though, their numbers have not declined dramatically, and the land bird conservation group Partners in Flight rates the American redstart as a species of least conservation concern. It's the brightly colored, if not really red, warbler, sometimes called the butterfly of the bird world, Setophaga ruticilla, the American redstart. Welcome again to our show number 935. Well, we've heard so many effects that climate change is having on birds, virtually all of them of the negative sort. And another one has to do with bird reproduction, as we're about to find out as we visit our own Debbie Bleacher in the Talkin' Birds Science Corner.
Come up to the lab and see what's on the slab.
Good morning, Debbie. I'm not going to really ask you what's on the slab, just saying good morning and let you take it from there.
Good morning, Ray. Hi.
I hear you have something to tell us specifically about climate change and bird reproduction.
Yeah, I do. Researchers with the Illinois Natural History Survey have made kind of a complicated discovery. Rising temperatures seem to affect the reproduction rate of migratory birds more than non-migratory ones, and large birds more than small ones.
Wow. So what sort of methods did they employ in making this discovery?
Oh, good question. They recorded the number of offspring for several generations. This was a 50-year study, so I guess they handed it down to each other. The team of researchers looked at data from 100 species from more than 200 bird populations across all continents. They looked specifically at how local temperatures and precipitation influence the average number of offspring that female birds produced each year.
So specifically, what did they find?
The results are pretty complex, but I'll do my best to unpack them. It looks like high temperatures during the chick rearing part of the breeding season decreased offspring production in most migratory birds, but increased it in non-migratory birds. One simple reason for this difference might be that non-migratory birds can adapt to changes in their local food sources, while migratory birds might arrive at the wrong time to find food when their chicks hatch.
Right. Well, that's certainly a big factor, when it comes to climate change, that timing of birds. So it seems to make sense.
Oh, good. Okay. So that's the migratory part. And now here's the bird size part. The study found that warming temperatures were associated with fewer offspring among large birds, but more offspring among small birds. So one reason for this might just be that large birds tend to take longer to hatch and rear their chicks than small birds. So they have fewer generations in which to adapt to changes in their environment.
Okay, that seems to make sense, too. Which birds are we talking about, by the way? Can you give some examples?
Sure. Two species with large decreases in offspring production were Montagu's harriers and white storks. Both of them are large and migratory. Two species with increased offspring production were the Eurasian sparrowhawk and prothonotary warbler, which are small and migratory. But some species, like the barn swallow, had increasing numbers in one location, but decreasing numbers in another. And those seem to be related to differences in temperature. Remember, the study looked at data from 100 species all over the world, so there was a lot of variation.
Okay, what about some of these species? Do some of them seem to be adapting to climate change?
The answer is maybe. So one example is the prothonotary warbler. In southern Illinois, they produced more offspring when local temperatures were warmer because the females started laying eggs earlier in the season, so they got in 2 clutches instead of just 1.
So all this research is important. How would you describe why this particular research is important?
Well, that is the only simple answer I can give you about this whole study. Being able to predict how a species will respond to climate change allows us to give the right kind of help at the right time. Large studies like this one always give complicated results, but we've got to start somewhere.
So is there some speculation, beyond these effects that are demonstrated about why it is happening?
Just some. I've given you the basics about food supply and timing of egg laying, but really, this study was a first pass, so there's a lot more to be learned. They got clear data about correlation, but it's going to take a lot more work to really nail down causation. That's all I got.
All right. Well, that's a lot. Thank you, Debbie.
Oh, always a pleasure, Ray.
Debbie Bleacher there in the Talking Birds Science Corner. And now comes my typical question. Where are we? Let's see. We have done the Science Corner, and we are about to move along to our Mystery Bird Contest, the first part of it at least. Yes, that would be coming along in just 1 minute. The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com. Pretty distinctive sound of our mystery bird. And here's something else I often forget, and that is just to offer a reminder that if you're not hearing our show live and would like to listen live and do our Mystery Bird Contest, for example, it's very easy to listen live. Just go to our website. That's that talkingbirds.com place without the G in talking, talkingbirds.com, and click on the Listen tab there. And you can see how to listen live with an internet-connected device any place on the planet. So you heard the sound of the mystery bird. It's a shore bird you can see, maybe without going to the shore. Brownish tan on top and white below. The white chest is barred with 2 black bands, and the brown face is marked with black and white patches. It has a large round head, large eyes, and a short bill. Our bird, which breeds all over the U.S., often in very dangerous territory near people, in just about all of Canada, and is seen year-round in the southern states and along both coasts, forages on the ground for earthworms and snails, and crayfish and grasshoppers, and beetles and aquatic insect larvae. Clues there on our mystery bird. As always, the other reminder is that even if you're not certain of the answer, give it a try, because no correct answer means a drawing will determine our winner. In this case, of a $15 certificate for Buteo Books, a family-owned business that offers one of the largest selections of birding books in the world. And a month's supply of crunchy and delicious Super Seed crackers from the folks at Mary's Gone Crackers, makers of amazingly good snacks using only whole plant-based ingredients. We have a bonus question prize, too. If we get to our bonus question from our friends at Feather Friendly, it's their bird window collision kit. And by the way, we have some news about our friends at Feather Friendly. We'll talk about next week in a little more detail, but something by which we're going to congratulate them for some good things that they are doing. So that's the thing on our Mystery Bird Contest. Please give us a call at your earliest opportunity. That'll be at 781-837-4900. It wouldn't be a Talking Bird show if we didn't have folks calling after the show ends, so we'd like to change that concept. So call us as soon as you can, 781-837-4900. Let's Ask Mike live in just 1 minute. Buteo Books carries one of the largest selections of birding books in the world. New, used, and rare books covering everything from backyard birding to general ornithology, from field guides to photography skills, biography, fiction, and humor. You'll find it all, along with the knowledgeable customer service you've been looking for, in one convenient place. ButeoBooks.com. B-U-T-E-O. ButeoBooks.com.
Quest Nature Tours has offered exceptional tours for bird and nature lovers since 1970. In 2023, join us in search of colorful bird life and jaguars in Brazil or on our brand new Zambia Safari. See amazing wildlife and explore habitats with travel companions who truly enjoy nature. Talkin' Birds listeners receive a $150 credit towards their first tour. Visit questnaturetours.com today. birds, and much more. Guaranteed.
Mike O'Connor is awash in warblers as, what, 1 million plus birds fly over Cape Cod, according to Birdcast. Let's see if this is all true. Good morning, Mike.
You never know with me, but yeah, it seems to be. I don't know if I right away interrupted you, but
that's all right.
I don't know if any of your listeners click on Birdcast, but Cornell puts it out, and it's really, really, really interesting. It's just a website. It costs you nothing, and just you can click on your county, and it'll tell you, especially during migration season, how many birds flew over on this particular night. It's really interesting, and it doesn't tell you what birds landed in your county, but there's a good chance that so the night before, last Sunday, Saturday, 12,000 birds had flown over Barnstable County, which is small, and this is where I live. And there weren't that many birds the next morning. But the next night, the wind shifted from the south, and there was 1.2 million flew over Little Barnstable County. And I went out the next morning, and boy, I was checking off birds left and right. A lot of warblers, a lot of tanagers, a lot of grosbeaks. It was pretty exciting day.
Wow, I guess.
So click on that. Track that down, listeners. Put that on there, and then, then you can get up early like I did.
Yeah. Well, you get up early anyway. You're up by 10 every morning anyway, I think, right?
Crack of 10.
Well, the other part of our program, our get-together here, Mike, this morning has to do with a question from a listener, and we really intended to play his audio postcard this morning from Los Alamos, New Mexico, and something happened, and we didn't get to that. I'd rather not say what happened, but it's typically what happens around here. But we'll do that next week. Along with we'll have him from New Mexico, and we'll hear from Paul Gardner from Utah next week.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it already.
I know you are. Here's what Siva says. Siva Gopal Narayanan. He's a great Talking Birds friend and ambassador. He says, "Love them nuthatches, but what do I do if they want to share a wall with me? Would Mike have any suggestions on how to keep them from moving into my siding? Someone suggested sticking streamers in the wall, which flutter and discourage the birds. I'll have to leave them be this season." Mike, you like those fluttering things for woodpeckers, so how does it go to the...
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I saw the pictures, white-breasted nuthatch, and maybe the other one was a brown-headed or a pygmy, which would be kind of cool. I'd let them live in my house if they started.
Yeah, he's got those pygmy nuthatches there.
Yeah, cool. Really, really cool. And so when I tell people, the same thing applies if you got woodpecker damage. Woodpeckers typically do more damage. Is number one, patch the holes right away, because holes attract more woodpeckers, or in this case, nuthatches. It looks like a rotting tree would. Patch them up right away, even if it's temporary. And then the fluttering streamers are good. I use holographic scare tape. It's what gardeners use, and it's not sticky tape. It's more like a streamer or a ribbon, but it's very bright and shiny. And gardeners put it over their strawberry or blueberry bushes, and it's very highly effective. Of all the things that we use to keep the woodpeckers, in this case nuthatches, away, that seems to work the best. And what I did in my yard, because I had a downy just whacked on the side of my house, after I patched the holes, I put a birdhouse up in that spot, and that seemed to work. They sometimes go in there to roost or to sometimes breed, but mostly to roost, and I haven't had any trouble since then. So fix the holes, get some of that scare tape, holographic scare tape is called, maybe put a birdhouse in that spot, and if none of those things work, then you can still, go back to, try aluminum siding. I think they still make that, don't they?
Well, I think it was it Bob Dylan who said the man who invented aluminum siding would be going way south at the end of his lifetime. But that's a whole. We don't really. We don't need to get really into that. By the way, Debbie is still with us. She wants to give you a hey here.
Hey, Deb.
Hey, Mike.
Climate change seems to not bothering you. You're still doing it, kid.
Great.
Hey, by the way, I just wanted to ask you about all those warblers. I mentioned about you being awash in warblers. You had quite a sighting there, did you not?
I know. You know what? I went to this neighborhood right around the corner from me is a neighborhood where, fortunately, they haven't had the purge of environment by the landscapers like my snotty neighbors have. The lawns are mostly natural. The trees are left alone. They're not sprayed, trimmed, and fertilized. And far more birds were there. And I spent like an hour. As soon as I stepped out of the car, there was chestnut-sided warblers and Cape May warblers. And red start, your bird of the week there.
Yeah.
20 species plus 2 species of tanagers, rose-breasted grosbeaks, indigo buntings, wood thrushes, a couple of species of veeries. So there you go. Watch broadcast and don't put pesticides on your lawn, and you too will have that experience.
Yeah, we're getting a little too envious here, so we have to wrap this up here. I don't know if you can. Your music is playing there. It's way
off. Yeah, that's
music
the way
is
it goes.
way off in the distance here, but it's there. So, all right, thank you, Mike.
Talk to you next week. Right,
talk to you next week. Oh boy. Okay, so we're back to the Mystery Bird contest, and we're trying to plug in the right things here and failing pretty much, but we're working at it, and we are moving on to a call from our friend Caroline. Not Caroline. No, we're going to Donna. No, that's not right either. We're going. Let's see. Jesse's going to tell us where we're going. I hope it's polite.
Caroline, it is.
Caroline in Hummerock, Massachusetts. Good morning, Caroline.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. What's a mystery bird, Caroline?
Spotted sandpiper.
Spotted sandpipers. That's not what it says here, so I guess that is not right.
Oh.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
All right, try this again, and we go to Donna, I think, in Michigan. Is that or no? We go to Donna, who's in Michigan, the state of Michigan. Good morning. Hi. Hey, Donna, good morning.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. You heard that it wasn't a spotted sandpiper, but you have a different idea. What is? What do you think?
Oh,
there?
I believe it's a killdeer.
A killdeer. It says its name there, so that
it's a name.
It says it's.
I call it a namesayer.
Say that again.
I call it a namesayer. I teach birding by ear, and I call it a namesayer.
Oh, okay, yes. Well, it's an apt description. Certainly, a namesayer is right. The killdeer, it's kind of famous. It's not the only bird that does this, but it's kind of famous for that broken wing display that it does. So it lures predators away from its nest. But you know all about that, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to figure out where we are now, Caroline, but I've been doing that. I mean, excuse me, Donna. That proves I don't know what I'm saying. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out if we have time for a bonus question, if you'd be interested in trying it, for that matter.
Oh, yes, I would.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I know I have it here somewhere. Things are moving slowly, but and not necessarily surely, but definitely slowly. Here we go. I'm going to find it here in just a couple of seconds. I'm pretty confident about that. Our bonus question. Here it is, Mystery Bird bonus question. Okay, we heard recently about a zoo in Blackpool, Lancashire, England, that's hiring folks to dress up in birds of prey costumes. They say they're looking for people who are visitor-focused, friendly, energetic, flexible, and outgoing. But why are they having people dressed up like eagles and such? Here are the choices. A, because they want to educate visitors on what birds of prey look like up close. B, they want to show children that birds are friendly. C, because they want to scare gulls away from visitor dining areas. Or D, because it's cheaper than having real birds at the zoo. Choices there. What do you say, Donna?
Oh, can I say all the above? No. I'm going to say B. About the children.
Showing children. No, it's actually because they want to scare gulls away from the visitors' dining areas.
Oh, well, that helps the children.
That helps the children as well. That's a very practical solution there. Anyway, nice work, Donna. Stay on the line. Jess, you'll get your info.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Donna there in Michigan, and thanks to Allison in North Carolina. We didn't get a chance to get to Allison, maybe next week, and we are out of time for this morning's show. Thanks for being with us, and see you next week.
The bird show. I like that. I love it.
Ray Brown's Talkin' Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics, with the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
And Quest Nature Tours, offering expert-led small group tours for bird and nature lovers since 1970. Explore exceptional journeys around the world at questnaturetours.com.
And Beautyo Books, an independent family-owned bookstore carrying one of the largest selections of birding books in the world. Beautyobooks.com.